What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Quan, and I'm here, as always, to give you the haps on what happened in that Dirty South 15 Yahoo Fantasy Football League of ours. You know what I mean? Going to give you the recap on Week 13 and tell you what you have to look forward to Week 14, okay? Now, let's get into these matchups. First one we're going to get into is the D to the U to the K to the E heavy hitters. They went up against those mobsters from the Valley, aka Valley Mobsters, and handled a biz 97.76 to 89.96. Now, not going to say it was a, astounding victory because Valley Mobsters was close in there. You know what I'm saying? Duke heavy hitters squeezed by with the victory by less than 8 points. And when you have a defense like Seattle getting you 23 points, it helps. You know what I'm saying? Those monsters from the Valley, their defenses weren't any slouches either. They had Houston, who got them 16 points. It just wasn't enough. You know what I mean? If they would have been like 24 points, got them 8 more points, I might have been called a different victor right now. So, moving on. The next matchup we got ATL Kings, Delta Dogs. Another very, very, very close matchup. This game was decided by less than 1 point. So, from what it looked like from what I saw, ATL Kings came out on top, 113.10 to 112.26. Very close matchup. And it seems like the defenses have been stepping up this weekend as far as getting fantasy points and performing this past weekend. ATL Kings had Philly's defense, which got them 22.50 points, and Delta Dogs had Buffalo's defense, got them 23.50 points. Close matchup, the Kings came out on top. Next matchup, we got the A-Town Jags going up against King Street Wildcats. A-Town Jags showed that they were the kings and ruled all the cats in the kingdom this week, okay? 129.40 to 91.08. Hey, I know it's been a long time coming. Matthew Stafford's been doing his thing as of lately, and he got the A-Town Jags 29.60 points. King Street Wildcats had Bridgewater, and he got them 18.72 points. Next matchup, we got I Gets All the Draws going up against Christy Love's team. Now, normally, I might have been calling the victor one way, but I don't know where it came from. I Gets All the Draws, gave a crazy pep talk to their team. They came out victorious with a victory of 146.40 to 102.40. Woo, they stepped it up this week, and they might have caused a little heartbreaker in the process, which I will get into later on in my broadcast. Now, it never hurts to have a tight end like Kobe Fleener on your squad who gets you 26.70 points to help you with this, overwhelming victory. Hey, Christy Love's team, she kept in the whole mode of the defenses performing very well. She had Jacksonville, who got her 25 points, which is very, very good. Now, next matchup, we got the Gap 92 going up against California's Finest. Do you need to tell me who won? We all know the Gap 92 got this easy victory. 157.16 to 80.68. Almost double the score. And even though California's Finest had Drew Brees, who got them 40.28 points, it wasn't enough because the Gap 92 had their defense, who got them Brees-like numbers. 40.50 points. What you got to say about that? They actually got more points than Drew Brees. And Brees went off. Okay, now, next matchup, we got Too Hot for TV going up against the Uptown Scrippers. And I tell you, it was very tempting. The Scrippers almost had me hypnotized, but, I had to bring that fire because it's getting close to playoff time, and hold down the, top spot in the league, do my thing. So I come through with the victory, 175.04 to 149.80. Le'Veon Bell did his thing for me, got me 35.40 points. And hey, LaShawn McCoy showed out for the Scrippers. Got them 23.90 points. Okay? Now, the last and final matchup, we have the team with the highest score in the league. I guess they're showing out last week before the playoffs. And even though they won it all last year, haven't really had that, great of a season this year, they had to go out with a bang. And I'm talking about Black Rain with the highest score of 195.40. They totally went off on the Rough Riders, who got 114.62. Now, one of the reasons why they went off, they had Trey Mason, who went straight bananas this past week with 34.40 points. I totally didn't see it coming, but they went off. Rough Riders had excuse me, Julio Jones, who had a fantastic week this past week. He got him 28.90 points. And I know it's been kind of up and down with Julio this season, you know what I'm saying? This is the first time he's had a real big week since he went off in week 3 against Tampa Bay when he had 32.60 points. He hasn't even seen another week all season like this. So the timing was right. Everything worked out. You know what I mean? So check it. Now, I'm going to get into these rankings, and then I'm going to let you know what kind of key moves were made in the rankings based upon the wins and the losses, okay? So I'm going to start from the bottom, work my way up this week. Now, in 10th place, we got California's Finest with a record of 0-13. And I don't know what's going on with California's Finest, but next year, not trying to be funny, but if you're not going to be in it to win it, then obviously, you know what I'm saying, don't do this next year. Don't do this next year, okay? 13th place, we got I Guess All the Draws with a record of 4-9. And I can see you made some effort, so you good, you good. 12th place with a record of 4-9, we've got Black Rain. In 11th place with a record of 5-8, we've got the Rough Riders with a record of 6-7. In 10th place, the Uptown Scrippers. In 9th place with a record of 7-6, Valley Mobsters. Also with a record of 7-6, we have 3 other teams. In 8th place, Christy Love's team. 7th place, D.U.K.E Heavy Hitters. And in 6th place, the ATL Kings. Now, with a record of 8-5, the 3 teams are as follows. In 5th place, Kingstree Wildcats. 4th place, the Gap 92. 3rd place, Delta Dogs. Now, with a record of 10-3, the top 2 teams who've been fighting it out for the past couple weeks. We have the A-Town Jags in 2nd place and Too Hot for TV in 1st place. Now, this coming week starts the playoffs. Okay? Now, to put it more lightly, you know what I'm saying, there's going to be 2 teams who's going to get a chance to kind of like take it easy, and everybody else is going to have to fight amongst yourself to see who goes against us, okay? But this is how it goes down, okay? Now, the top 6 teams who's going to be going to the playoffs are Too Hot for TV, A-Town Jags, Delta Dogs, the Gap 92, Kingstree Wildcats, and the ATL Kings, okay? Now, if this had been last week, it would have been a whole different scene as far as who was going to be going in. You know what I mean? Because when you look at the rankings, the top 3 teams and the bottom 5 teams stayed ranked in the exact same position as last week. Okay? Christy Love's team and the Valley Mobsters were ranked 6 and 7. They dropped down to 8 and 9 this week. Okay? ATL Kings and D.U.K.E Heavy Hitters, they were ranked 8 and 9 last week. They moved up to 6 and 7, respectively. Okay? Now, due to that little come up right there, ATL Kings, you know what I'm saying, they got 6th place and clinched the playoff spot. You know what I mean? D.U.K.E Heavy Hitters would have gotten that spot, but they needed maybe about 76 more points. If they would have had more fantasy points than the ATL Kings, then they would have took 6th place, therefore clinching a playoff spot. Okay, now, I talked earlier about a heartbreaker game, And that game was when Christy Love's team went against I Gets All the Draws. And normally you might have thought Christy Love's team would have, won the game and stayed in her higher ranking. But I Gets All the Draws was out for blood. You know what I mean? So I Gets All the Draws, because of the win, that moved him out of 13th place. But it didn't knock Christy Love's team out of playoff contention. You know what I'm saying? If Christy Love would have won, then her record would have been 8-5 instead of 7-6. You know what I'm saying? And in a points battle, she wouldn't have been able to compete against, ATL Kings or the heavy hitters. But just based upon her record alone, 8-5, she would have had a better record than ATL Kings and D.U.K.E heavy hitters, and automatically, would have clinched that 6th place. You know what I'm saying? So, now, going into the playoffs, week 14, this is what it's going to be like. Now, Too Hot for TV and A-Town Jags, we get a bye week. Just like the NFL, you know what I'm saying? So, come week 14, the 4 teams that are in contention for the championship who have to battle against each other are the Gap 92 versus the Kingstree Wildcats. And then we got the Delta Dogs versus ATL Kings. You know what I mean? All of the games will be consolation games, and you can kind of see the results on the site. So, good luck to everybody who's playing. I'm going to take this time to rest up, work with my team, do a little practice. You know what I mean? Get ready for week 15 to see who I'm going to have to go up against, and then try to make my way into the championship, as everyone will. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's like no holds barred. You either win or go home. That's all I got. I wish you all good luck, and I'll check you next week. Peace.